What if you could learn any new skill, memorize vast amounts of information, or master a subject in just 48 hours? In How to Learn Almost Anything in 48 Hours, Tansel Ali, a three-time Australian memory champion, reveals the secrets behind accelerated learning. The author explains that the ability to learn quickly and efficiently isn't about being a genius. It's about using the right techniques and understanding how your brain works. In this audiobook summary by AudiblePages, we'll uncover the author's proven strategies for memorization, focus, and information retention. You'll discover how to harness the power of visualization, memory palaces, and chunking to absorb knowledge faster than ever before. Whether you're a student, a professional, or a lifelong learner, these techniques will transform the way you approach learning. By the end of this audiobook summary, you'll have actionable methods to turbocharge your learning process and confidently take on any new challenge. Part 1. Understanding How Learning Works. Chapter 1. The learning myth. The author begins by debunking the myth that learning takes a long time or that only some people are gifted learners. He explains that learning is a skill that can be developed and anyone can master it with the right approach. The author emphasizes that the traditional methods of rote memorization and repetition are inefficient compared to the techniques used by memory champions and high performers. Consider how many times you've struggled to learn something new, thinking it required more talent or time than you had. The author teaches that the key to learning faster lies in breaking free from outdated learning methods and adopting proven techniques. Believe that you can learn quickly and efficiently. Start by letting go of the belief that learning must be slow and difficult. Adopt a growth mindset and be open to trying new strategies that can accelerate your learning. Chapter 2. How your brain learns. The author explains how the brain processes and retains information. He breaks down the science of memory, highlighting the brain's preference for patterns, images, and associations. By understanding how the brain works, you can tailor your learning techniques to make information stick. The author introduces the concept of visualization and explains how turning abstract concepts into vivid mental images can improve recall. Think about how much easier it is to remember a story or a picture compared to a string of random words. The author teaches that visualization is a powerful tool for encoding information in your memory. When learning something new, use visualization techniques. Create mental images for the information you want to remember and make them vivid and memorable. This will help you retain information more effectively. Part 2. Memory Techniques for Fast Learning. Chapter 3. The Power of Visualization. The author dives deeper into the art of visualization and how it can be used to memorize information quickly. He explains that the brain loves images, especially ones that are colorful, exaggerated, or humorous. By transforming dry or boring information into visual stories, you can make it more engaging and memorable. The author shares examples of how he uses visualization to memorize long lists, numbers, and even speeches. Consider how your favorite stories or movies stay in your memory for years because they are rich in imagery and emotion. The author teaches that using similar techniques can make even the most complex information easier to recall. Use vivid and exaggerated images to memorize information. For example, if you need to remember a list of items, create a mental story that links each item in a funny or outrageous way. The more unusual the imagery, the better it will stick in your memory. Chapter 4. Memory Palaces. The author introduces the concept of the memory palace, a technique used by memory champions to memorize vast amounts of information. A memory palace involves visualizing a familiar place, such as your home, and placing the information you want to remember in different locations within that space. By mentally walking through your memory palace, you can recall the information in order. Think about how well you remember the layout of your home or a place you visit frequently. The author teaches that by using these familiar spaces as storage for information, you can access your memories more easily. Create a memory palace for information you want to memorize. Choose a familiar location and mentally place the items or concepts you need to remember in different spots. Practice walking through your memory palace to reinforce the information. Chapter 5. Chunking information. The author explains the technique of chunking, which involves breaking down large amounts of information into smaller, manageable chunks. The brain can only hold a limited number of items in short-term memory, but chunking helps you organize information in a way that makes it easier to remember. For example, instead of trying to memorize a long string of numbers, you can group them into smaller sets. Consider how phone numbers are typically broken into chunks to make them easier to remember. The author teaches that chunking can be applied to any type of information, from numbers to text. When learning something complex, break it down into chunks. Group related pieces of information together, and focus on memorizing one chunk at a time. Once you've mastered each chunk, piece them together to form a complete understanding. Part 3. Practical Applications for Learning Quickly. Chapter 6. Learning new skills. The author explains how to apply his memory techniques to learning new skills, such as playing an instrument, learning a language, or mastering a sport. He emphasizes the importance of deliberate practice, which involves focusing on specific areas for improvement and using feedback to refine your skills. The author also discusses the value of setting clear goals and breaking them down into achievable steps. Think about how overwhelming it can feel to learn a new skill from scratch. The author teaches that by using memory techniques and structured practice, you can make the learning process more manageable and enjoyable. Set a clear goal for the skill you want to learn and break it down into smaller steps. Use visualization and chunking to memorize key concepts or techniques, and practice deliberately with a focus on continuous improvement. Chapter 7. Preparing for exams. The author shares strategies for studying efficiently and performing well on exams. He explains how to use memory techniques to memorize large volumes of information and how to create a study schedule that maximizes retention. The author also emphasizes the importance of reviewing material regularly and using active recall to reinforce what you've learned. Consider how stressful exam preparation can be and how often cramming leads to poor results. The author teaches that using memory techniques and a structured study plan can make studying more effective and less stressful. Create a study schedule that includes regular review sessions. Use memory techniques like visualization and memory palaces to retain information, and test yourself frequently to reinforce your knowledge. Active recall is one of the most effective ways to prepare for exams. Chapter 8. Mastering Public Speaking. The author discusses how to use memory techniques to deliver speeches confidently and without notes. He explains how to use visualization and memory palaces to memorize key points and transitions, making it easier to recall your speech in front of an audience. The author also offers tips for managing anxiety and staying composed during presentations. Think about how nerve-wracking public speaking can be, especially if you're worried about forgetting what you want to say. The author teaches that with the right techniques, you can memorize your speech and deliver it smoothly. Use a memory palace to organize your speech. Visualize each key point in a specific location, and practice walking through your memory palace until you can recall your speech effortlessly. Focus on deep breathing and visualization to stay calm and confident. Chapter 9. Lifelong Learning. The author concludes by emphasizing the importance of lifelong learning and the role that memory techniques can play in personal and professional growth. He encourages readers to stay curious, keep learning new things, and apply memory techniques to all areas of life. The author believes that the ability to learn quickly is one of the most valuable skills you can develop in today's fast-paced world. Consider how much more you could achieve if you continued to learn and grow throughout your life. The author teaches that lifelong learning keeps your mind sharp and opens up new opportunities for success. Commit to being a lifelong learner. Set aside time each week to learn something new and use memory techniques to make the learning process faster and more enjoyable. Embrace curiosity and never stop growing. Practical advice and wrap-up. Tansel Ali's How to Learn Almost Anything in 48 Hours shows that learning quickly is not about being gifted. It's about using the right strategies. By understanding how your brain works and using techniques like visualization, memory palaces, and chunking, you can accelerate your learning and master new skills with confidence. The key is to stay curious, be open to new approaches, and practice regularly. Start by applying one or two of these techniques to a subject or skill you've been wanting to learn. Whether it's memorizing a speech, preparing for an exam, or learning a new language, these methods will help you learn faster and more efficiently. Remember, your brain is capable of amazing things. You just need to give it the right tools.